Robert Leo here from YesHorsemanship.com, helping you teach your horse to say yes. Welcome to part 2 of our video series, Catching and Haltering a Wild Mustang. We're going to be working with Dakota, a 5-year-old mare that we acquired through the Bureau of Land Management's Wild Horse Adoption Program. Now, Dakota spent the first 5 years of her life wild on the plains of Wyoming and was only in captivity for a couple of months before we acquired her. So it's taken a few weeks to build the respect and trust necessary to get her to the point where she will receive her first halter. If you did not see part 1, go back and take a look at that. It shows the process that we took to get her to the point where we can touch her, rub her, get close enough to her, catch her, and put a halter on her. Today's video will show you how we actually put the halter on Dakota for the very first time. So I hope you enjoy the video. This is Robert Leo from YesHorsemanship.com. Okay, so now I want to catch her. I want to catch her for real. I want to put the lariat on her with a lasso. See if I can just rope her. Alrighty. So now you notice I have that knot that stops the rope from choking her. Now I've got her in a positive grip with the lasso. All right. So what I want to do now, same thing I was doing before. I'm going to move her out, but now I've got the lasso on her, so it's a little different dynamic. I have a little more control now than I had before. All right, so let's move her out. I'm going to point, cluck, use body language, move her out. Making sure I don't get this lariat wrapped around my hand. In case I have to let go, it'll just fall to the ground. It's not going to wrap around my hand at all. So let's move her out. Okay. Now when I call her in, I'm going to use a little more pressure on the lasso because I want her to know that I've got pressure. I didn't ask her to stop, so I'm going to move her out in the same direction. She saw me stop, and so she stopped. I'm going to point, I'm going to cluck. I'm going to call her in, and I'm going to use some pressure on that lasso. Send her out the other way. Pressure is anything that the horse senses is asking it to change its behavior. It can be a cluck, which is a verbal cue. It can be a physical cue, such as pulling on the rope. It can be a visual cue, such as pointing. Call her in. I'm going to pull on the lasso. Let her know that she's caught. Point, cluck, move her out. Now notice that time I did not have to slap the lasso. She's respecting my commands. That's what I want. I want her to respect me and not be afraid of any of my tools or equipment. Okay, so we've been walking Dakota around for a while now. I'm going to call her in. I'm going to go to the next step, which is yielding her hindquarters, getting close enough to touch and rub her. Okay? I didn't ask her to move, so I'm going to put some pressure on her. Give me 2 eyes. Okay, I'm going to call her in. I'm going to use exact body language. I'm going to lean toward her hindquarters, let her know I want her to move her hindquarters without moving her front quarters. I want her to rotate on her front quarters. Good girl. Good girl. I want to make sure the rope is not going to get tangled in my hand. If I drop it, it'll fall to the ground. Let's go this way. Good girl. Now you can tell when a horse is in a reactive state can also tell when a horse is relaxed. Signs of a horse relaxing. Well, there's 5 of them. Blinking of the eyes, the dropping of their head, licking their lips, their sigh. She didn't like that. Okay, bring her in. Sighing. Now, if I had to drop the rope, she really took off running, I could drop the rope, and it would not be a problem. And cocking the back leg when they're standing still. She reacted to that sound because that was sudden and random. Remember what I said about predators? They're sudden and they're random. Let's try that again. Okay, not a problem. Whenever a horse reacts to something, you want to make sure that you focus on that to get them desensitized to it. So if she didn't like that noise, I'll do it some more. Once they become desensitized to it, it's just going to be part of their life. The response I want from her when I make sudden noises like that is I want her to not be afraid. I want her to be relaxed, okay? She's turning away. 2 eyes, please. Reach out. Let her smell me. Be good. Let me touch her. Okay. Let me touch her. Good. Let's go the other way. Let me go. Okay. I'm going to start reaching out and rubbing her some more because I'm going to have to get close enough to her to put the halter on her. Now I'm going to do something else here. She needs to get used to the feeling of a halter on her nose. So I'm going to take this rope, put it around her nose. What have I just done? Basically, I have a makeshift halter. Okay. Now if she's being calm, I'll do it again. I'll put it around her head. Do another loop. Be careful with the loops that you don't get your hand in it, because if she takes off, you don't want her taking off with you. Okay, so what have I done? I've created a makeshift halter. I want to make sure she's going to yield to the pressure on her nose. This is new to her. So, I'll pull her around. I'm going to rub her. Good girl. See, this is like a halter on her nose without actually putting a halter on her nose. So let's wrap it around again just to make sure that I have a good, solid contact with her nose. Now what if she were to take off? I want to make sure that my feet aren't tangled up in my rope and my hands aren't either, so I can pull on her if I need to. See, I've got her face. She's not going anywhere now. So let's just move her around a little bit, get her used to the feeling of that on her nose. Okay, there we go. She didn't like that. Okay. I was out of the way enough to where if I needed to drop the rope, I could. I'd get out of her way if I needed to. Okay, so I'm just going to lead her around by the nose. I want her to know that I've got her. Now, what if she was just really not happy with this on her face? All right, so let's move her out. Okay, so I got her nose. See, I can pull on her face. I've got her in a very strong position, leverage-wise. She knows that I've got her. Okay, so let's just move her around a little bit. And again, make sure your hand's not wrapped around this so that in case you have to drop it, it's not going to catch your hand or arm, drag you across the arena. Alrighty? So I'm going to pull her in. I want to make sure before I go to halter her that I can put things on her nose. I can work with her around her side. Pressure her to bring her in. Pressure, pressure, see, pressure, pressure. If she doesn't like the pressure, I'm going to keep it on until she does the right thing and then release it. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. I make sure I can move the side over here. Good. All right. Now, let's go ahead and take this off. Give her some release. Good girl. Okay. Now what I am going to do, I've made sure that I can rub on her and get close enough and have positive control with the lasso. Okay, I'll pull her in. I'm going to introduce her to the halter. I'm going to rub her with it. Okay, good girl. You don't have to be afraid of this halter, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm not going to get tangled up in this lariat if she decides to take off. All right, here we go. Okay, pull her in. Here we go. Put this on her head. Okay, take it off. Approach and retreat. Approach. Girl. Retreat. Okay. Baby steps, little at a time. Make sure she's not reactive to it. Good girl. Try it on her nose, see what she does. I want to make sure that my fingers are not going to get tangled up in this thing. Okay, she takes off. Okay, good. Okay, I'm not going to tie it on her. Just going to let her get used to that. Good girl. All right, do it again. Here we go. Put her on her nose. Okay. Be very gentle, be very deliberate, but be very careful. Okay, so she's being good. So I'm going to just let this sit on my arm for now. I'm going to put this through. Okay. She's getting a little antsy. That's all right. There we go. Make sure that I stay safe. She stays safe. There. Okay. So we'll put her on her nose. Good. Good girl. Make sure that my hands and fingers are out of the way. In case she takes off, I can let go. Okay. There you go. Good. Girl. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it through one hand. There you go. Whoa, 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 whoa. There you go. There you go. Okay. I'm just going to leave it loose for now. Want her to get used to it being on her head. Okay. It's pretty loose. So let's see if we can't tighten it up a little bit. There you go. Be very careful. If she takes off, you don't want to go with her. I'm just going to tighten it up. That's okay. See, I was able to let go and get out of the way. Good girl. All right, let her know I still have her. Come here. Good girl. So we got her haltered for the first time. Went very well. You want the first halter, the first saddle, the first ride to go as flawlessly as possible. Because if they connotate negative emotions with this process, it just becomes that much harder to get it done. So what I want to do now is I just want to rub on her, get used to rubbing her neck, making sure I'm 45 degrees away from her front quarter in case she jumps forward. Okay, keeping an eye on her face. I don't want her biting me. Okay, good girl. Good girl. She's a good girl. Come here, girl. Okay. Okay, rub her neck. Okay. Now, so there you have it, the first halter. I'm going through the steps to get her there. Could take hours, could take days, could take weeks. Depends on the horse. Take your time, be patient. The time you put in at the beginning, building respect and trust, pays off in the long run. This is Robert Leo for YesHorsemanship.com, wishing you happy trails.